Hi, I'm Chandler O'Quinn. Welcome to Chandler's Travels. In this episode, we are on the Spacecoast of Florida. The area between Titusville and Melbourne, Cape Canaveral, all of that. We're talking about prehistoric history and Spanish colonial history here on Florida's Space Coast. I hope that you'll enjoy it. And hey, is that Barbara Eaton? I think that's Jeannie. Jeannie, hey, Jeannie. Hey, you should leave Major Nelson behind. Stick around with me. I'm much more fun. Jeannie, come back. Hello, I'm here outside of the Brevard County Museum of Natural History. There was an archaeological dig that took place on the Space Coast, I believe near Titusville, that happened in the 1980s and led to many discoveries of early Americans, some 8, 9, 10,000 years ago. One of these discoveries being one of the earliest forms of fabric ever created on North America, or maybe by humanity in general. That's all I know right now. That's the extent of the research that I've done, and I knew that I needed to come here and I needed to dress like I am from the 60s so that I could explore all the things that they found in that archaeological dig. So we're about to go inside, and then I'll give you a full report afterwards. Well, I just got done taking a look at the Natural History Museum there. It's a nice little place. It's free, run by the county, telling a lot of different stories, as these little county museums often do. Some excellent displays of Ice Age Florida, big mammoths and giant sloths and things that, if you've watched the episodes I've done before about the Blackwater Draw site, Blackwater Draw could really use an actual mammoth. They could use even some sort of taxidermied kind of a thing, stuffed mammoth, as long as it doesn't look too much like Mr. Snuffleupagus. This had it. This had that big mammoth, those big mammoth bones. I think it's partially real bones, partially reconstructed, or it's casts from bones that were found here in Florida. Either way, the Ice Age display was pretty cool. Of course, we're on the Space Coast, so there's lots of stories to tell about space exploration. lots of artifacts from the Apollo missions and Gemini missions and all of that. Also, it is a little interesting, a little different, that the pioneers, the Anglo pioneers of Florida, are proudly known as crackers. So there's a lot of cracker history. And that's not just Barry Manilow music. It is actual, this whole culture that exists here in Florida of crackers. And the homesteads that they made in the early 1800s as they came in once the Spanish had left in 1819 or so. But clearly, like, the draw, why people would come here, or at least why I came here, was for the artifacts and stories related to the Windover archaeological site. So many interesting finds that they made there. As we were talking about before, some of the first textiles ever from North America found there, made out of palmetto. It's amazing how the reason that we were able to find all these things is that they had these burial mounds that were in the peat. They would bury their dead. Their cemeteries were this in the ponds. They would sink down their loved ones with stakes, with fabric shroud covering over them, and then put them down in the bog. And for us, it's kind of hard for us to think about that as a way of honoring your deceased loved one, but for them, not only did it work as a way of keeping them away from scavengers or other sorts of threats that could decompose their bodies, it preserved them. It preserved them better than mummies in ancient Egypt, and was done 2,000 years before those mummies in ancient Egypt. That peat was so well at preserving that there was actually brain tissue still inside the skulls of some of these bodies that they found. So that's remarkable. That's remarkable that we have brain tissue from Americans, people who were living here 7,000, 8,000 years ago. And that was all found at the Windover site. They also, the biggest, let's take a right. What the heck, let's get lost. The biggest discovery was the fabric that they made out of palmetto. But they also talk about the bottle gourds, that the sort of domestication of bottle gourds was not expected this early either. And they had them, and people would be buried with their bottle gourds. So if you're not familiar, a bottle gourd, just like a pumpkin, grows and has a very hard shell, and you could empty it out, let it dry out in the sun, or let the ants get in there and eat everything out. And in my line of work, in my museums that focus on the 1800s, we call bottle gourds the 1800s version plastic. You could make bowls, you could make bottles, you could make dippers, any sort of container that you might need. Let's take another right. You're seeing me get lost in real time in the Florida jungle. You can make so many different containers, so many different utensils out of it. 1800s plastic. And so here, 8,000 years ago, the Floridians who were here, the first Florida man, had bottle gourds. And another thing that struck me is they have these displays about the first crackers, the first Anglo settlers. and they show one of their houses. And when you look at a mock-up of one of their grass hut houses, it doesn't look all that different from the approximation of the dwellings that these Windover people lived in. 8,000 years later, the houses, the technology, the things that they're eating, the tools that they're using aren't that much different. And we're only 150 years, 200 years removed from that. We've come a long way in 200 years, but it's important for us to know that in the grand scheme of things, that wasn't all that long ago. But oh, and there's lots of model trains. If you like trains, if you like model trains, I know one of my good friends has a whole model train set up at his house. He would love to come here and talk with these old guys. Maybe these old guys are known as crackers, and maybe that is a term of endearment. So talk to these old crackers about their trains. If you're looking for a place to do that, then coming here to the Spacecoast, Brevard County Natural History Museum. Come over and enjoy all that. For the history side of things, I'd say I'd focus more on what they have. They did a facial reconstruction using forensic technology to match what the face of these first Floridians might look like. And then they also have a big display about the archaeology. There we've got shouting going on. I might have my own encounter with a Florida man. How fun. But they were able to reconstruct the face, and then they have another display about the archaeology that they did in the 1980s, which is a really important part for this community. Lots of people in the community talk about that they were here, that it's in living memory, and how much fun that they had digging up this piece of Florida history, this piece of human history from 8,000 years ago. So having that as a display is really important as well. Well, that's a lot of rambling as I get lost in the Florida woods here. I think that just about wraps it up for this this portion of our journey on the Spacecoast. Catch up with you a little later. Remember those episodes I did in August? And I was talking about how cool and dry it was in the Texas Panhandle. It's December in Florida, and it is not dry, and it is certainly not cool. So that's our weather report for you from December here in Florida.
Will our host make it out of this Florida labyrinth? Was the lady actually Jeannie or just a retiree with a midriff? What happened to that Spanish history he was going to talk about? Answers next week. Same Chandler time, same Chandler channel.